Hello, Miss Aurora Snow.
Hello.
She's there. Hello, how are you?
Yes, I totally ran away this morning, and you're right. I am wondering what I was into.
I saw your tweet in the middle of your night saying, "Oh God, the things I do for radio." But we are so delighted you've done it. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, in case anybody isn't familiar with your work, now I think that's probably going to be mainly European people. I think that you've probably got a pretty massive following in the United States who know exactly who you are. Aurora Snow, now, what's the best way of describing your career?
Well, I'm definitely an adult actress, and I have been an adult actress for about 10 years, which is exceptionally long for any adult actress.
Absolutely.
And I feel very fortunate. But I've also done a lot of mainstream stuff, and the people who sometimes don't know me from the hardcore world of adult will sometimes remember me from Playboy TV. I used to do a few shows hosting on those channels. And most recently, I've moved into the horror movie genre and some comedy, but a lot of that stuff isn't out just yet.
Fantastic. I can't wait. Now, tell us what horror movie this is going to be that we're going to see you in, because I need to see this.
Well, the one that should be coming out this year, but I don't know if they're finished editing. They should be. It's called A Place to Die, and Sylvester Stallone's son, directed it.
No!
And it was shot a lot on film, which was really interesting to shoot with. And my character is a surviving character at the end. I was stabbed to death with barbecue skewers in the house that I was showing because I was a real estate agent. I was crawling away from the killer and finally had enough energy to run down the street screaming. So it was a great ending.
Fantastic. This is great. So you have literally started to move into the mainstream then, in quite a big way. I mean, we would have seen you in... just see what I did there, by the way. I've just put on the... Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me in the background? I thought that was quite appropriate, really, considering most people that are married that sort of watch your movies probably feel that way. Anyway, I digress. I saw you in Superbad, and that's kind of when I first kind of got... you were highlighted to me, as it were. And that's not the end of it, which is great news for your fans. So, is the porn stuff done then, or are you just sort of taking a break now, or is it going to happen sort of coincidentally?
I think it's been developing a lot of movement, and this year has really snowballed into almost a lot more mainstream roles. My comic book debuted this year, which I mostly wrote. I had a little bit of help. It was my first comic book. And I'm going to be writing a second one, which will debut next year at Comic-Con. And I did a little bit of blogging. I was a reporter for the first time in Washington, D.C., and covered the trial for John Stagliano and Evil Angel. They were up on obscenity charges, which was absolutely ridiculous, too.
I read your stuff about that. Yeah, you weren't very happy.
And I just started rehearsal for an independent film 2 nights ago, actually. And we start shooting next week.
Wow. Okay, so you're a busy girl. I mean, people will probably be surprised at this, but you're not a typical sort of stereotyped porn actress, are you? You're quite an intelligent person. I mean, you got quite a big background in education as well. And this sort of porn thing, you just fell into it, really, didn't you?
I did, I didn't even expect to like it. I was going to college, and all I saw every time I showed up to class, I didn't see the teachers or the books. All I saw was my debt growing day by day. And I couldn't figure out what I would possibly do when I graduated college that would pay back this debt in a decent amount of time. So I kind of fell into porn. I answered a newspaper ad, and there's this ad, huge lettering that says, girls earn $2,000 a day. And then a little tiny, tiny print. It says nude modeling. And then no phone number. So I called it, of course. It got me. And I got in it. I really thought I was going to hate it. I thought I was going to grit my teeth and say, okay, I could do this for a year, make a lot of money, leave, run away, never look back, never acknowledge it, and just be out. That didn't happen. I got into it, and I did start making quite a bit of money, but then I started enjoying it and realizing what it was and that it wasn't anything that I ever expected it to be.
I'm sure
And
that you didn't expect this. I'm going to play you a clip now, and you probably know even before I play it what clip I'm going to play of you. But we've got to have a listen to this because I need to ask you a couple of questions about this. So here we go. Here's a brief clip of you. Now, I, for one, have already heard enough of that, and I've got to be honest with you, you can't enjoy that, surely, can you?
If I'm correct, I think that's a third fucking scene. And it was for gag factor. And it was something the director really wanted me to do it. He's very keen.
I bet he did.
I turned it down because he was like, I don't think that's going to be fun. I don't think I'm going to enjoy that. And it wasn't so much. I enjoyed the performance, and I enjoyed giving the director what he wanted.
Yeah.
And after that scene there was a lot of upside down throat fucking, so my face was bright red. All of the saliva ran into my eyeballs.
Oh!
It was a really, it was a very violent looking scene, and, it was very intense.
Yeah.
It was actually violent, but I had bloodshot eyes for the next couple days.
Now, I mean, it looks like you've had a bad tequila, if I'm honest with you. There's nothing sexy about that. I've seen you doing some pretty sexy stuff, I've got to be honest. Last night I was researching your career and trying to dig out some old clips, and, I didn't get up to any, mischief or anything, honest. But, however, that was definitely the one that I came across a few months ago, in fact, and just thought to myself, I've got to ask her about that, because that can't be fun to make. And you even vomit a couple of times, don't you?
I probably did. It was actually encouraged by the director. He thought it was great. When you're working for a director that is so enthusiastic and he thinks this stuff is just the coolest thing he's ever shot and he's very into it, I'm a performer at heart, and that comes out, and I want to do this great job no matter what that job is.
You must hate him, surely. You must look at that director.
That?
You must look at that director and hate him. You must think, man, what are you on?
No, if there was a time when I needed to stop, he was more than willing to say, okay, take a break. I think it's all in the approach. He was so enthusiastic about it. It was something that I hadn't done. I try to always try things once and say, okay, I did like that or I didn't like it. And now I know for sure that I will or won't do it again. And I had never done one of those. And after I did that, lo and behold, there's a whole market out there.
Absolutely.
And I had all these new fans that I hadn't had before. So I was more willing to do it again to please my fans.
So I think the bottom line is, fans, she won't be doing it again in a hurry.
Actually, I recently did one for Evil Angel. Joey Silvera recently shot it. We shot it last week. It's called Face Fucking.
They're so original with the names, aren't they?
Actually, one of porn's most creative aspects is the titling. Very entertaining in itself.